All right, well, it is Friday Night Baseball tonight on Apple, and joining us now to talk a little bit, maybe some positive about the Red Sox, since it's been all negative all morning long, is our friend Heidi Watney. Heidi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys
How are
doing?
you?
Doesn't
How you
sound
doing?
like you're doing very great.
No, not
Great.
You feel like a missed opportunity when it comes to the Red Sox and what they didn't do yesterday?
I do. But I think that a lot of teams that were in the market for starting pitching didn't get what they wanted, right? A lot of GMs said just the asking price was too high. I mean, it's Red Sox are going against the Astros this weekend, and they didn't get a starter either, and that was high on their priority list. So I heard that from a lot of GMs around the league yesterday. Just the asking price was too high on starting pitching.
How are the Red Sox perceived nationally? Locally, we've seen a real shift in their spending, in their, just overall willingness to extend themselves for championships. Has there been a national understanding of sort of the new path of the Red Sox?
I think the national outlook is pretty much the same on the Red Sox. It's kind of surprising that a team that can operate like a big market team, it's one of the premier teams in baseball in terms of the franchise and the respect that it garners. And they have been operating on a lower budget lately, and just the moves that they make aren't, you saw it yesterday. AJ Preller, he's on a totally different spectrum, going all in. But Dodgers didn't do a whole lot because the offseason they stockpiled. I mean, they're spending money like crazy. Mets are spending money like crazy. Even Yankees went really big yesterday at the trade deadline, bigger than I expected them to. And the Red Sox, they show a lot of promise. They're still a very good team, but they just seem to they kind of seem to be in the middle. They're not doing nothing, and they're still a big team and have a huge fan base, as I know from my time here, but they're not going as big as they could, it seems.
Heidi, I was just going to bring up your time here. I mean, you have a special connection to Massachusetts and to the Red Sox. So for you, looking back to 2008 to where we are standing at 2025, what's the biggest difference you see, whether it's the team, ownership, or fan base?
Oh, gosh. When I was here in 2008, it seemed like the Red Sox were one of those, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Mets, the Dodgers, the teams that you expected to be going all in every year, doing whatever it takes to win a championship. That doesn't seem to be the case as much anymore, but it's still a franchise that has so much history. It's still a city that is so proud of its baseball team, even though everyone seems to be a bit not happy with the team for the last couple of years, and understandably so, right? You're not going to come if they're not putting a winning product on the field. Postseason baseball is what it's about. That's what the grind's about. So it does seem to be operating a little bit differently than the team did in 2008. But it's still I just love Boston. I love the Red Sox. The organization was good to me. I love my time here. So I'd like to see them get back to that consistent prominence that it seemed like when I was there from 2008 through 2011, that it seemed like they were chasing every year.
Heidi, you talk about your love for baseball. I know Bryce Harper had his choice words for Commissioner Rob Manfred about, possibly a new CBA. Where do you
Courtney hadn't heard about that yet.
That's
Yes.
going to be my lead on Monday.
Yeah, Courtney has heard about that. But where do you stand, with, being around Major League Baseball and owners maybe wanting to eliminate those 10-year contracts that they get stuck with? Do you see a change happening? Do you see potentially a salary cap, or do you see players maybe going to like the NBA contract model where it's like maybe 6 years is like the max deals you start to see?
Well, I definitely think that a lot of teams and a lot of ownerships would like to see a salary cap with what's happened recently, especially with the Mets and Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers are just a machine right now, and they're churning out so much success that they're pulling in so much cash and they're putting it right back into the team. And the Mets have Steve Cohen, and there is no player that he wants to buy that he won't go to the moon for. And so some of the smaller market teams are like, we can't even hang in this realm. But at the same time, MLB wants to have a floor. They don't want just a salary cap. They want to do a cap and a floor to make a little more. And it's funny that, parity is the word right now because there is so much parity in the sport. But they just want a little more balance. And so the commissioner's office thinks they can do that by having a salary cap because there's a lot of owners. I mean, the commissioner's office is an extension of ownership, and outside of a small handful of owners, most owners don't want to give those $700 million, $800 million contracts. It's just not prudent to do that. I mean, there's a lot to live up to, too. I mean, if you had a cap on the number of years you could give a contract, on the number of dollars you could give a contract, then you're not going to have players like Soto go in with all this pressure because he's a $786 million man, right? It's going to be just a little bit more balanced. But you have contracts that fully guaranteed in baseball. I mean, it's great. It's great for the players. They had the strongest union. They have they've had great CBAs in the past. But it's kind of ridiculous. If you really look at it just from a perspective, you're guaranteed this money no matter how you perform. I mean, there's been so many contracts that have been just an albatross. Look at Anthony Rendon. He is handicapping the LA Angels, and the guy doesn't even play and doesn't even seem like he wants to play. And yet he's making just a ton of money. It's gotten too far in the sport. So while I appreciate the Phillies have a really tight clubhouse, a really solid clubhouse, and Bryce Harper is going to stick up. But look at what Bryce Harper did. He took less money longer term to stay and build something. But he's the anomaly in what he did. I mean, his contract is looking like a complete steal right now for what he brings to that city and that franchise. Other guys are chasing, most people would chase the money, highest dollar, right? And it's just creating a real imbalance in the sport. So I think if you sit back and try and look at it logically, like if you can get a floor, players need to think about what they want, what's the most important thing to them, and they need to work on that and give it in exchange for a cap because it's just gotten a little bit out of control right now. And the disparity between the major league minimum and then the $40 million a year that the top guys are getting is just absolutely crazy in the sport, especially when you see like the Red Sox are getting all these younger players coming through and providing so much value and getting paid the major league minimum while their teammate over here is making like 100 times what they're making.
So you're saying, well, we have a billionaire owner here too. We just have a frugal one, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. He's gotten more frugal, but but I think with any business model, John Henry's a savvy businessman, and so he maybe is going to treat it a little bit more like a business than he is treating it like his childhood passion, like Steve Cohen is coming in and doing.
Right. All right. Well, so game tonight on Apple. It's great to hear your voice. I would ask you to rank, out of all concerts that you've been to, rank the Greg Hill Foundation Zach Brown show at MGM. Is that in your top 10?
I love any Zach Brown show. So, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
that
okay,
would be.
Good.
Good job, Greg.
All right. Good. All right. Top 10. Round of applause for Heidi Watney. They love you here, Heidi. All right.
I love being back in Boston. One of my favorite places.
All right, great to talk to you. Game tonight on Apple, and it's Friday Night Baseball, and we will be back from Pier 52 in Fall River on a Flex Friday with Hill Notes to wrap things up.